started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
What the fuck is up, gamers? Welcome to Seagulls Make Do. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm fucking fantastic.
And I'm your host, Stephanie, and I'm a respected surgeon.
I guess that leads into why we were away for a bit. I had my tummy cut open, but I'm okay now.
By me. Yeah. Because I'm a respected surgeon, so.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm very excited to be back. I missed podcast, but also I'm happy that you are hopefully better.
I mean, same. Yeah, I missed it, but you know, a girl has to do what she gotta make do, and yeah, I just had to sleep for a couple weeks, but I'm okay now. So I guess we can get into it. We're still on season 3. Is this episode 16?
15 this time.
15? Okay. Well,
yeah, because last time was the Stephanie number. So
we're in the teens because this episode is about teens, and it's called Hot Child in the Sea, which is the grossest name we've had in a while.
It's a bad name. I guess at the end I realized it was because of a song, because they play a song at the end. I didn't know. I'm not familiar with the song because I'm not a weirdo who likes hot teens or thinks teens are hot. So what do you think I do? Watch Neon Genesis Eva Longoria? I don't know how to say it.
This episode of Sex and the City is sponsored by Neon Genesis Evangelion. Because it's about teens having sex, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the difference between the two of them is that this was a really good episode as opposed to being a really terrible show.
Yeah,
so,
and it was like, oh, it's bad that children are sexualized. Like, that's the message, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
I think we should get into it, yeah.
So we start with a Carrie voiceover, as always, and she's saying that if you live in New York for 10 years, then you can officially call yourself a New Yorker, but you can always tell who was born here, because then we cut to Kat Dennings in in her first role. It was her debut, and she's playing Jenny, who's like, I guess her parents are really rich, and it's her bat mitzvah, so she wants Sam to be the PR for it.
Mm-hmm. Imagine needing PR for your bat mitzvah. Like, that's how rich you are. It's really good. And, okay, I also, like, I knew she was playing a teenager in this. I forgot she was playing a 13-year-old in it, because the idea of Kat Dennings being 13 is wild to me, because I'm just like, oh yeah, you're, you know, like, the same as you've always been, but yeah, she's baby.
She's baby. I mean, yeah, she's one of those people that I'm like, no, you were born 25 and you'll be 25 forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But she's like, I want NSYNC at my party. I want this. I want that. And Sam is like, you're 13. That's not happening.
Yeah. The Clintons are invited, apparently.
The Clintons. How old was Chelsea at the time? She would be a fucking adult. So why would the Clintons be invited?
That's a good question. And this is in, like, 2001 or... Well, I guess the Clintons weren't really doing anything in, like, 2000 anymore. So
they were chilling. They were going to bat mitzvahs.
I guess so, for some, like, weird New York 13-year-old socialite, I guess. I don't know, maybe her parents were big donors, but yeah. And yeah, so then Sam changes her mind, and because Jenny is like, oh, you know, I told my dad that it won't be under $1 million. Like, we can't do that. And Sam just hears money, and she's like, oh, fine, okay, whatever. Yeah, and she loves it now, so.
She loves it. This is, okay, when we go to our, you know, usual, like, brunch, and they're in, like, a cafeteria. Like, it's Carrie says it's haute cafeteria cuisine. And, like...
what does that mean? Like, they have lunch trays, but the food is fancy, I guess?
But, like, I have seen this, like, before where it's kind of like a buffet or something. And you have, like, trays and sit down, but it's fancy.
Yeah.
There's one in London which I want to go to, and, like, it's all vegan, which sounds wonderful, but also it is a buffet. And I just... in my mind, I link buffets to, like, cheap Chinese food. Like, not nice Chinese food, just the worst Chinese food. But it's all free.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, yeah, they had their school trays, and they're sitting down, eating lunch, and Miranda sees a cute boy. Like, it's all very on the nose.
It's very, very... everything in this episode is so on the nose about, like, oh, where are we 30 or are we teenagers? Oh, it's high school. And it's like, okay, I watch Riverdale. I know what it's like when 30-year-olds go to high school. And that's, if I wanted that, that's what I'd watch.
But yeah, she sees like a cute boy and sits down, and they start chatting. Apparently, so Miranda's been getting these headaches, so she went to the doctor, and apparently she's a tongue thruster.
I mean, whomst among us isn't?
But basically, she needs to go to the orthodontist because she says she's pushing her tongue up against her teeth.
What does... Okay, so she gets braces for this after, and how the fuck is that gonna stop her from thrusting her tongue against her mouth? Like I don't understand.
Like, unless she had like an overbite or something, or an underbite, then braces would help. But like, I don't know.
I really didn't understand anything, because it's not like she had any problem with her teeth being, like, misaligned. Like, maybe if she had a gap in her teeth, she would instinctively push her tongue up against it or something. That maybe?
Yeah, the only thing I can imagine is if she has, like, an underbite or something. Or, like, but I don't know. Anyway, but they all just get distracted and start talking about this cute boy.
They do. Yeah, no one wants to listen to Miranda talk ever. They're just like, boys.
And then Carrie is like, oh, what if you write him a note? So she goes over to him and is like, my friend over there thinks you're cute. So he gives Carrie, like, his number to give to Miranda.
Yeah.
And they all giggle like they are teenagers because do you get it?
I don't think I get it. But that's fine. We can move on.
Yeah. Carrie, should we talk about Carrie's outfit?
It's something. I didn't love it.
So she's
to be honest.
I guess I'll go from the bottom. She has like her pink heels, obviously. And then she has like tie-dye, I guess they're like knee-length leggings. And then like a blousy tunic, like pink and green with Chanel logos all over it because it has to be Chanel. And then big pirate hoop earrings, the ones with her names on.
Of course.
And then a blue bandana, like a pirate.
The bandana just really completes it. It's...
The David Foster Wallace look.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's something. She has better looks later in the episode. Let's just look at what
she has
doing.
a great look later in the episode. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see she's walking down the street and she's going to a shoe repair guy. But, okay, this is stupid.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand. She goes to the shoe repair place and it's not there anymore. She like walks into it. Like if it's not there, it's not there. What did she expect? She walks into it and it's a comic book store. Like
did she think there was like a facade? Like
I don't even know. She like asks the guy at the counter too. She's like fuck, what was the guy's she's like looking for her regular guy who does the shoes, or she's like, what happened to Artie?
Yeah, and she's like, the shoes she wanted to be repaired are the ones she's wearing.
That's so stupid. What's she gonna do? Walk out of the store with no shoes on?
Yeah.
Like, in New York?
Like, okay, I mean, I guess you might be lucky and he could just do it there. But, like, what? She's gonna sit in the store with bare feet for, like, half an hour?
I really hope not. That's bad.
And if the shoes already need repair, why is she wearing them? Why not just put them in a bag and then take them there and then pick them up like later? That's what a normal person would do.
Well, the thing is, Carrie also needs to see the brain repair guy, so I don't know. But
a therapist is a brain repair guy. A therapist is a brain repair guy.
Well, she needs one of those too.
Yeah.
So can we talk about how gross this guy is?
I hate him, and I hate his fucking earrings.
Every scene he was in, he looked like 2 years older. Like, he kept looking like he was getting older and older and older, and his outfits were getting, like, younger and younger and younger.
I'll be mean, and I feel okay being mean because I Googled this guy. For the listeners, I like to troll through the IMDb before we do an episode, and I was like, why doesn't he have literally any credits apart from Sex and the City? So I thought, oh, maybe he was like a surfer, a skateboarder, probably because his skin is bad. He looks like he looks like he's been in the sun a lot, and I was like, maybe he's a surfer.
Bad hair too, like, bad skin, bad hair.
Yeah, with like earrings and like blonde hair. I was like, okay, maybe he's a surfer. And then I googled it, and now his Twitter is full of like right-wing bullshit. So
hate it.
So I do feel okay saying that he has terrible highlights and should wear SPF. Everyone should wear SPF. I wear it.
That is true. Everyone should wear it. Like, I mean, I know for sure because I still have a sun. Like, my boobs are literally peeling right now. I have skin peeling off of my boobs right now because I didn't wear sunscreen to a wedding I thought was indoors. So
wear sunscreen, protect your neck, literally.
Yes. This guy is like, he's okay. So I think he's supposed to be like in his, he looks like he's like 35, but he's dressed like he's like 14.
He wears a fucking Speed Racer t-shirt later. Like, which I did kind of love, but then again, I'm 20. Like, if I was wearing an anime t-shirt, it wouldn't be that weird. I mean,
like, yeah.
It depends what kind of anime t-shirt, but.
That's true. And I guess it also depends, like, the thing is, anytime I see, like, a woman, or just, like, anyone who's not a man who's wearing a shirt that's, like, kind of like that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But if I see a man wearing it, I'm like, oh, that's hideous. I hate it.
Listen, I mean, as a bisexual, I love a graphic tee. I love one. I'm always, but like I have like horror movie t-shirts and like metal band t-shirts, and I can get away with that because I'm a woman. So I'm like, oh, I'm quirky. But if you're a guy, then it just looks like you work in a comic book store, which this guy does. So
yeah, he does, and like that's like fine too because I like comic book stores. But he's like, we'll get into why he sucks more later too. There's just so many reasons why this guy sucks.
He does suck, and I feel like we're being mean, but like, I mean, yeah, we're like Red Scare. This is listening to the Mean Girls in the bathroom talk.
The thing is. Sometimes
it's not.
Men are just sometimes men are just disappointing.
That's true. Anyway, yeah, so Carrie, his name's Wade, by the way.
I hate it. Sorry. If your name's Wade, why? Change it.
I mean, yeah, if your name's a verb, that's a bit of an issue. But Carrie's like, where's my shoe guy? And he's like, he couldn't afford the rent, so I bought this place and now it's a comic book shop. And she's like, oh, because she's standing in a comic book store. Like, she's not the smartest person, and she's a writer. And he's like, oh, I write these comic books. And he shows one to her, and it's called Power Lad.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Like, okay, that's all comic books. They're all lads with power, so what's new?
How are you innovating the comic book genre, mister? But he's like, oh yeah, you know, like his like powers haven't kicked in yet, but his parents both have superpowers, so like he wants to be a superhero, blah blah blah. And then Carrie's like, I'm a writer too. Look, turn to page 7 in your newspaper over there, which is like the fucking like the most pretentious thing. I love it.
It's really good. Page 7, by the way, is where you'll find me.
Yeah, by the way, that newspaper you read, I'm in that.
Bold of her to assume he reads the newspaper, but Yeah, he's like, I thought you looked familiar. And then we get a moment, like a funny girl in a comic store moment, where like a bunch of like younger boys from behind are like staring at Carrie because she's a woman in the comic book store. And that's wild. They've never seen a woman before.
No. Oh, we've never seen a woman before. This is okay, this is why I hate him. One of the reasons. So he says like, oh yeah, maybe you could write comics or something. And she's like, oh, I don't really like him. There's not any girls. And he's like, oh, there's loads. And he starts listing them off. And he's like, oh, I'm sure you've heard of Wonder Woman. Like, this is so cringy.
I don't like it.
No. And she's like, oh, I love Wonder Woman. She's got tiaras and bracelets.
Yeah, she does love it when a superhero's accessories also have powers. So, which I mean, like, relatable. Like, I get it.
But, like, the tiara doesn't. Oh, wait, doesn't she throw the tiara, or am I making that up?
I don't know a single thing about comic books, so I really have no idea.
But, yeah, the like, bracelets are, like, bulletproof or something. But that's not power, that's just, they exist like that. Yeah. And then, like, he says to her, oh, to those guys over there, you are Wonder Woman. And then we go to a scene with Carrie back at home, and, like, he sent her a drawing of her as Wonder Woman, which, okay, first of all, he knows where she lives.
Yeah, I don't know how he found out where she lives. And I also am like, okay, so unless she left, well, I guess, okay, so she's in the newspaper. I was going to say, did he memorize what her face looks like?
Yeah.
But I guess he has a reference, so that's a little less creepy. Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, so he drew that picture. Unless she has like a P.O. box at the newspaper and they forward it to her. But that's so weird. But she's like, oh, I'll go on a date with him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if someone drew an art of me and it was actually good and it didn't look like trash, I'd be like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Maybe. It depends.
If I spoke to a guy like once and then he DM'd me a picture he drew of me, blocked on site.
Yeah, that's a little fucking weird. That's true.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. But anyway, yeah, so she's going to go on a date with him.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's great. And then we move on to Charlotte, who is, she's online, right? Because Miranda said that, like, she had been looking online about her, like, tongue thrusting thing to, like, see what was wrong with her. And Charlotte was like, you can do that? You can look online to find your diseases and stuff? So I guess this was before the popularity of WebMD.
Yeah, this was proto-WebMD.
Yeah, she is like the Christina Aguilera gif of like click, like that is her. She's just like clicking because she wants to know what she can do for Trey's boner problem.
Yeah, and she finds that like so you can get like a fucking like a cyber dick, like I'm really not exaggerating. It's cyborg shit. Like they put a thing like a rod in your penis and then you flip a switch. Or at least this is what they make it sound like. It's probably not. Like, you flip a switch and then you've got a boner. Which...
Well, they do talk about, like, hydraulic cylinders being inside your dick. So, it sounds pretty much like that. It's like, Carrie's voiceover is just like, yeah, she wanted to make Trey the Bionic Man. I
don't like that. I mean... Like we said at the top, I had surgery and that was not on... If I had a dick, it wasn't on my dick. I wouldn't really want to have like a hydraulic press inserted into my genitalia, but I guess you got to do what you got to do.
It's a choice. I mean, I guess I don't think I would want to make someone go through surgery so that they could bone me.
I thought it was gonna be like a penis pump.
Yeah.
I would imagine that would do something.
I don't know. I don't really know anything about penis pumps, to be honest. I don't know what they do. Is it like... I thought that was like for like jelking.
Ew, what's jelking?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to describe it.
That's worrying. That's worrying because I think it's too much for this show.
I mean, I can look up the Urban Dictionary definition so I don't get it wrong, but it's
I can do it. I can, and the people at home, if you're driving for some reason, you know how like when people listen to podcasts, I'm like, oh, if you're driving, then don't do this. But like, who is driving?
If you're driving, then don't jelk.
I'm Googling joking, why not? Oh, yeah, I guess it kind of is like that. But like I think it does get you like a bit hard as well. Oh God, I hate the word joking. It sounded worse than what it is.
I mean, yeah, but it's still just like, it's not good for you. Like, you're not supposed to do it. I'm pretty sure it's like, I mean, I don't know if you can like cause damage, but I think you can.
Probably. The penis is very sensitive.
It is, yeah.
But anyway.
Yep. Bad place to do surgery.
Yeah. Then we go back to Carrie. And they're in like a barcade. And
yes.
With Wade, and they're on their little date. And it seems to be going well, and they go into a simulator. Carrie says it's $10 a fucking game.
I feel like she can't read.
Do you think it's one? Do you think it's like $1, but there's like a decimal point that she can't fucking see? She never did decimals.
I think that's possible. I think that's super possible. I also, like, she also does talk about, or no, Wade mentions how, like, you also get drinks with it or something. So maybe it's like $10 gets you one beer in a game. Yeah. Which is it still means a game is probably like $5, but like, still. Mm-hmm.
It does sound extortionate, because if it's $10 a game, you're gonna play like maybe 2.
Yeah, plus like it should be kind of like when you go to Vegas, which is like, oh, this game is free, but like no, it's the other way around. You pay a lot on the games, but then you just get unlimited free drinks, basically.
Oh, okay. I've been to one of these like modern arcades, and apparently they're really hard to, because they're really expensive, because they're really hard to like keep the machines up to like scratch, because they're shit.
Makes sense.
And so they are really expensive to run. But like, I think for that, you pay to get in, and then all the games are rigged so they're free. Which
okay
makes sense. And then the drinks cost, because every venue, they make money on the drinks. They don't make money on anything else.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, they go into one of those like simulators, which I love.
I've never been into like one of those before. It looked cool though.
I remember I went into one. I used to be very scared of dinosaurs as a child. And then I went to like the Natural History Museum, and my mum made me like go in one of those like it was like a dinosaur thing, like a Jurassic Park simulator. And then it got rid of my fear.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like 10. I was too old to be scared of dinosaurs.
I mean, Jurassic Park is pretty scary. So, like, I mean, a couple parts.
No, I couldn't even watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I was that bad. I was like, well, you know, I think for some reason I thought that dinosaurs weren't truly extinct. And it just freaked me out that there was an animal like the size of a house.
I recently heard someone ask, someone that I work with recently asked, were dinosaurs... Or, like, we know dinosaurs were real, but, like, were dragons also real? And I was, like, trying so hard not to laugh because we were in a meeting.
Shut the fuck up. You work in, like, a fucking university.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was really good. I mean, it was, like, someone much younger than me, but it's still, like, above an age where it's reasonable to think dragons are ever real. It was funny.
Oh, God. Yeah, but then we moved out to Charlotte really quickly, and she shows Trey the dick switch.
She printed it out. She printed out the website.
Oh, I love it when someone prints something out. Like, obviously, I understand it was the 2000s. You have to print stuff out. Yeah. But it's so funny when someone print, like, does your mom ever, like, print out something from the internet to show you in person?
God, she probably has. I don't remember, though, but... yeah.
It's great. And he's obviously like, I'm not gonna get surgery on my dick because that sounds horrible.
Yeah, he's like, you cannot be serious. And Charlotte's like trying to be really diplomatic about it, but like, you can only be so diplomatic about like putting a robot inside your husband's penis. So,
Yeah.
just a little robot who's gonna pull the strings and make the blood go.
It's like all right, here's how you solve erectile dysfunction. You get a ghost to like go inside of your husband's penis and possess it. Yeah.
You know what I learned about recently? About the bone that most mammals have inside their dicks that help them be erect during sex.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't know about this until recently. Someone that I play Pokemon League with has a Twitter about bones, because she's a bone scientist. I don't know what the word.
I was gonna say, is this the friend that is the bone scientist, not just someone that is just has a page about bones?
Yeah, no. She's like a bone scientist, and her entire Twitter is just like about bones, and so I learned about I think it's the bacula, which is like just most mammals have a bone in their dick and humans don't. So maybe Trey should just have a bacula inserted.
Oh, what about? Do you think Scott Bakula knows about that? That his name is
who do you
Scott
think
Boner?
invented it?
I think I heard that. I think I think I heard that gorillas have one.
Oh, it's baculum. So
okay,
same
that's fine.
thing. Maybe baculae. It could be the plural. Maybe I don't know. the penile bone. Yeah.
Yeah, the boner, the titular boner.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, okay, well, what are we going to do then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we don't get to find out just yet.
No.
Because we go back to Carrie and Wade. This episode jumps around so much. They're leaving the arcade and he whips out his fucking scooter. His fucking razor scooter, basically.
A razor scooter. Like, he just whips it out from fucking nowhere. He's wearing those shorts that Blink-182 would always fucking wear that are like baggy chinos cut off with like a wallet chain, and he has a Speed Racer t-shirt on with the sleeves cut off. He looks extremely sexy.
It's a lot. Like, I just want to say, this was like the year 2000. I was born in 91 and I got a Razor scooter for my 10th birthday. So, this guy is basically me at age 10. So,
and I'm sure you were wearing like a cartoon t-shirt, and a pair of shorts.
Yep, exactly.
Like that. Yeah, he's dressed like a literal child with his scooter, which he's also really tall. So like he's leaning over so much to be on the handles. Like it would just make more sense for him to have a skateboard.
Yeah, it kind of would. And like, don't get me wrong, scooters are fucking fun as shit. Like I loved mine when I was 10. Like, I would, like, it would be fun to ride a scooter and be faster, I guess. But, like, this is what I meant when I said every time he appears on screen, he looks like he's, like, another 2 years older. Like, he was, like, 35 in the first scene. And now I'm, like, looking at him and I'm like, this guy's, like, 40, right?
Yeah.
And and Carrie's, like, having a good time, though. She's just like, oh, this is fun. He's, like, youthful.
Yeah, he's effervescent. And he's like, do you want to have a go? And she's like, yeah. And she's scooting in heels.
Oh, yeah. Skating in heels.
They scoot back to his place. And
this is really not how I thought Scooter was going to come back on the show. Oh, his name's not Scooter, it's Skipper. Fuck, it's the same thing. Skipper turned into Warg of the Week. Skipper turned into Scooter, but not like just another person named Scooter. He turned into a scooter.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. I confirmed.
There's nothing you can say to dispute this. So
no, I don't have
we
any
just don't
evidence
know.
of the contrary. No. So yeah, they go back to his place, and he's got this like amazing view of the city. He's like really high up. It's a gorgeous place. And she's like, "How can you afford this?" And then his mom walks in.
Yeah. So it's his parents' house.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's like there's nothing wrong with living with your parents, because like I have lots of adult friends who live with their parents. Like it's normal. It's kind of just like he didn't tell her we're going back to my parents' house.
Why
it's just
wouldn't
like
you tell them?
it kind of makes it seem like he was just bringing her back to his place. And because she asks him, how do you afford this? And he kind of just, like, avoids, like, the truth, kind of?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I live with my parents, and if I was bringing someone home, then I would say, by the way, I live with my parents, so maybe we should sneak up to my room quietly, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be like, you would bring it up because you don't, obviously if they're asleep, like, you don't want to be loud. But also, you know, just to prepare them. But, like, I just don't, it's weird that he wouldn't mention it. Like, it's not weird that he lives with his parents, really. But it's weird that he wouldn't mention it. And also, like, go back to her place. If that, because you could say that. You could say, oh, my parents are in. Even if you then lie and you're like, oh, yeah, they're just staying for the weekend. Like, you know, if you want to sleep with her, he could have gone back to her place.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I guess the reason why she even, because originally she was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like go home with you on the first date. And he said, oh, I have central air, by the way. And so she was like, okay.
Yeah, I have air conditioning and a balcony, so.
Yeah. So who knows? But either way, it's very like, okay, sure. And yeah, so I guess this is... We go to now Sam and Carrie, who are out for food, and Samantha's just like, dump him immediately. Use my cell phone to do it.
She's like, what's his number? Here is my phone. You will dump him. And
yes.
Like, apparently, so like she explains a bit more. Like, he used his money to buy the comic book store. And that's why he doesn't have enough money for his own place, and he's currently saving up, and, you know, it's all good. And Carrie's cool with it. And, you know, she's being realistic. Sam's a bit like, he's a bit old to be living with his parents, but whatever. I mean,
yeah, like, Carrie's fine with it, then that's like...
it's the end of the discussion
wrong?
Then. Yeah. It's not the end of the world. It's like, annoying, but it's not immediate dump him for me. No. Well, obviously, also, same. I'm like 22. If someone had their own place, I'd be like, oh my God, are you a millionaire?
Yeah, like, it's definitely a very different situation. But still, it's kind of like, I don't know. He has goals. Like, he's got stuff planned. He's trying to save money. And New York is fucking expensive. I mean,
my gosh. New York is ridiculous. Like, New York is, I think, almost, is it the same level as London? Like, it's impossible to just buy anywhere there.
Especially, like, if you want to be living in, like, Manhattan. So,
yeah, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. Everyone's cool. And then Miranda walks in.
With their races. It's good.
It's not.
They definitely are like, it's interesting. Like, my stepmom had braces when she was in her 30s, and it's definitely like, it's definitely different than having it, you know, like as a teenager or something. Like, I had braces when I was like 14. But yeah, it's definitely different. Miranda, she's so awkward about it.
Yeah, I have Invisalign, or I have knockoff Invisalign, but I have the, you know, aligners, and I realize I couldn't have the mental capacity to cope with having like adult braces.
I think it definitely could be hard to deal with. I mean, it really depends, I guess, on... I feel like they make it seem harder than it actually is in the show. Like, just like, they make it seem like eating's really hard. And
why should you on a liquid diet?
I know that the first day you get braces put on, like, I remember when I had braces put on, the first time I tried to bite into something, it was so painful. Like, just how tight they were in my mouth. So it's like, it was very challenging to eat for the first few days just because it hurt to bite down. But, like, you can... I mean, I feel like you kind of have to try a little bit, otherwise it's just going to keep hurting. I don't know. It's been so long since I've had braces.
But later on, like, Harry's voiceover is like, oh yeah, after a week, Miranda was finally brave enough to eat solid food. It's like, it's not that bad.
It's not. No. Like I was trying to eat solid food the first day I had braces, and it sucked a little bit, but still, yeah.
But no, I'm living the easy breezy life of adult orthodontics.
Yeah. It's also so much more expensive to get braces when you're an adult. Like, that's the biggest problem, because it's cosmetic usually. It's not medical like it would be if you were a kid. So
yeah, it was like honestly not that much more to just get aligners and not have to deal with having braces, like than just getting cosmetic braces. Because yeah. But anyway, Miranda is there and she's like, "Oh, do I look hideous?" And you know, the girls try to comfort her. But obviously Miranda feels a bit uncomfortable with it, as I think is understandable. I don't know why braces are such, like, because glasses, you can be any age and have glasses, but braces are just such a teenage thing that, like, having them as an adult is some taboo.
I guess braces are more temporary, whereas glasses are kind of like forever, I guess. I mean, it's something that usually gets put on when you're a teenager just because it's when your mouth is still developing, I guess. And like, I guess at least, but at the same time, I don't get why people really care, like why anyone would like make fun of you for having braces as an adult. Like, when I was a kid, I wanted braces so bad. Like, when I was like 10, I was like, oh, I want braces, I want glasses. Like, I have no idea why I thought these things, because like, I mean, I think glasses look good on most people, but like, I don't know, it's not like braces look bad, but it's like, why would you want
I remember pretending to be colorblind because I wanted glasses so bad. And I didn't realize that, like, the test they do is just tell that you're colorblind. I thought it was just like, oh, you can't. So I purposely ruined a fucking eye exam because I wanted glasses. God.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I got braces anyway. I was extremely like, Lisa needs braces. Like, it was like, if I didn't get braces, my mouth would have been a fucking disaster. Like, thanks to my parents for their genetics, it would have been terrible. And I have a small jaw. I had like 16 teeth pulled.
Oh my god!
I guess including my wisdom teeth, I had like 20 teeth pulled. Like, some of them were baby teeth, but
oh Christ.
Like, yeah.
Here I am, like, being dramatic because I have a slight snaggle tooth. I'm like, oh, I'm hideous.
No, I now have 24 teeth in my mouth. You're supposed to have, like, 32 if it's maximum number. So, my jaw is small.
Wow.
So.
That's a lot of teeth. Oh, you're so brave.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
They get champagne sent to the table.
Yeah.
And it's
nice
Jenny.
Champagne.
Yeah, it's fucking like $200 champagne. It's nice champagne.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Jenny.
Yeah.
And oh my god, she comes over with her like girl gang.
Yep.
And one of them, did you notice one of them is like gorgeous?
Didn't really think about it, I guess, but like, I like barely can remember what either of them look like at this point.
There was one of them who was like really pretty, but like she looked like an adult, but she was like pretty. It was like unfair. Like, I was upset. I was like, how are you a teenager and not disgusting looking?
Like, if you're a teen, you have to be like drafted to the ugly war for 5 years.
Like, she was very clearly obviously a child, but she was like really like stunningly beautiful. And then apparently she's a model, obviously. But I was like, why is she so pretty? It's not fair. It's not right. It's really not. You have to be ugly as a teenager, or else you're going to be like a terrible person when you're an adult. You're going to be horrible.
I mean, it's true.
You need to be you kind of need to have braces or glasses or something.
You need to just like look back at your photos from when you were 12 or 13 and be like horrified. Like, I look at pictures from then and I'm just like looking at my center part and like it's bad. Like, I cannot pull off a center part. Like, I know like 99% of people can't, but like on it truly was horrifying on me. It was. I look at those pictures and I'm just like, it's very funny. But
yeah, that's the thing. You need to look back at pictures of yourself and be like, ugh.
Like, I can't believe I'm in my prime now. Like, it's good.
Yeah. And then I look at this girl and I'm like, oh my gosh. Why did she look like 20 and 13 at the same time? What's going on? I'm
really just sad thinking about the idea of like peaking in high school.
Ugh. Well, those people who peak in high school are the demons that walk the earth.
Oh, they really are, yeah. I just can't even imagine. Just, you have so much life after high school.
Yeah, that's it. That's like, it's over for you after that. Like, I want to peak when I'm like 50.
Yeah, same. Like, I'm just climbing the ladder. Like, every year I'm like, fuck yeah, this is good.
But yeah, her girls, her little posse are there. They got their little handbags. They're dressed in like sequins. They're dressed in like sequins and neon and animal prints all at the same time. But they kind of look great.
It's good.
Yeah. And Jenny's like, oh my God, Samantha, like, I'm so fun to see you. You didn't tell me you were friends with Carrie Bradshaw. Like, she's obsessed with Carrie. And this was a glimpse into me as a teenager when I was obsessed with the show.
It's a glimpse into me being 13 years old and reading Cosmo and being like, oh, did you know that like this is what you should do during sex to like achieve the best orgasms? And meanwhile, I'm like, what is an orgasm?
Yeah, I like still remember reading a Cosmo, and it's like, when he's inside of you, or you do your pelvic floor exercises, and you'll blow his mind. And I was like, okay, I'm keeping that for later. But yeah, like being like a 13-year-old and thinking you're like super like, you're like, I'm a grown up. I know what sex is, and I read Cosmo, and I know what I've watched a YouTube video on how to give a blowjob. Like, I'm ready, and you're not. You're a child. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I know what a baculum is. So, yes.
And like she's talking about sex, and Carrie's just like a mouth agape, like, okay, you're a child, and then they walk away, and Carrie's like, what the like, how old are they? And Samantha's like, they're 13, and they're all disgusted.
They're all just like, what? They're 13 years old, but they look and talk just like us. What?
I mean, they don't.
Good. Yeah, not really. I mean, like, they swear and they talk about how much men suck. Like, they're like, oh, men are just the fucking worst, and you guys are so fucking fabulous. And, yeah.
Like, all 13-year-olds swear.
I know, it's true. I guess, like, they're not always as open about it to just, like, random strangers they've just met that they're trying to, like, impress, I guess. I don't even know.
It's weird, but, yeah, this was definitely, and I mean, I've definitely seen this, not really as young as 13, but, like, I have friends with younger siblings, and then, like, I see, like, teenagers, or even people my age, who look like 30? And it's so weird. Like, I don't think I look particularly young. Like, I think I look my age. But then I like watch fucking Love Island, and they're like, oh, I'm 21. And then they look 30, and I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre the way that we think people like look, whether it's like their age or older or younger. Like I've always looked younger than my age, but it's also just because I'm really short.
Yes.
So like if I don't wear makeup and if I wear a big enough hoodie that you can't see my boobs, it's kind of just like, yeah, I could be a teenager probably, but like the way that I present myself normally, you would be like, no, you're definitely not, you know, younger than 20.
You're just a short adult.
Yeah, like do you think that they would cast me on Riverdale to be like I think they could maybe. I think I could maybe pass for a Riverdale teen. Maybe.
I mean, I get castings for teenagers.
Uh-huh. I could definitely be a teenager who comes into Riverdale High and cuts off Archie's head with a chainsaw and stars in season 4.
we could star in season 4 of Riverdale together. We could be the new exchange students, the foreign exchange students.
From Canada and Britain.
Yeah.
It's just like, hi, we're the foreigners. Yeah, welcome to Riverdale High. And then we get murdered, probably.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I've been waiting to get murdered my entire life.
Big hat.
But then we get our question.
Yeah. Okay, so this is possibly the weirdest question we've gotten in the whole show so far. So Carrie's like thinking about like, okay, well, were those girls dressed like us or were we dressed like them? Like, what's going on? Her question is, are we 34 going on 13? Which No?
I'm gonna say no. Like, they don't dress like 13-year-olds. I
No,
mean,
they
Carrie
don't.
kind of does, because she was wearing, like, a denim miniskirt, which...
Hey, so, yeah, Carrie's the only one of them who really dresses like a 13-year-old. Like, none of the other girls wear those outfits ever.
No, because the rest of them wear suits to work.
Yeah, the rest of them are kind of like, Samantha and Miranda are very dressed up most of the time, and Charlotte's just like Charlotte was like born 30. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can never imagine Charlotte really, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But then Miranda goes on a date, and she eats like with Lance, I think his name was, whatever.
I didn't even write it down.
Yeah. But she eats and she gets food in her teeth, so she's obviously really embarrassed. But he's really nice about the whole thing. Like,
he's pretty nice aside from when he does like make a joke about like he's like, what's it like to kiss someone, and she's like, oh, it should be fine, and then he's like, oh, but a blowjob's out of the question, right?
and then he's like, that was a joke. I'm so like, he's immediately apologetic about it.
Yeah, Miranda's like embarrassed because she got food in her teeth and stuff, and she's just like covering her face. It's a really bad like how much food she gets in her braces. Like, I never, ever, ever once got that much food in my braces. Like, it's I really wish that instead of doing this, they had, like, done a brace face type episode where, like, her teeth just, like, get struck by lightning or something, or, like, I don't know, just something, like, really stupid that makes no sense at all instead of this.
She should have, like, Lisa Simpson, like, headgear. Like, it takes up, like, her entire face, like the Saw bear trap.
Oh, that'd be so good. Yes.
She's talking like she has her jaw wired shut, like she's Kanye West through the wire, but she's not.
She like has a lisp almost because of having braces, which I don't think that's a thing. I think they made that up for this show. Like,
I think she's probably got like fake braces on, and maybe that's why.
Maybe.
But then I had a lisp when I first got my aligners in. I had a lisp. Which drove me insane because I went to class like the day after, and of course I got a script with a million S's in it.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was like, "I'm sorry, everyone. I don't normally lisp, but it's fine now. I think."
Yeah, she's had it for like a week, so I feel like anything initial would be kind of
you would get used to it by then. Yeah, you might have like a lisp immediately just because your like tongue placement's off.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different, but...
Yeah. But then we cut to her on a sunny day, having an ice cream walk with Carrie. Why do they always, like, eat and walk? I hate it.
I don't know. They do this a lot, but I was fine with it because they had the classic 90s solo jazz cups that they were eating their ice cream out of, and I'm sorry, but I lost my mind. I was so excited.
It was great.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my favorite outfit. Carrie's wearing like a tennis dress, but then the bottom is like an aquarium print. I love it.
I like this one a lot. Yeah, this is a good one. And we get a little bit, it's instead of being like on the nose, it's like in the nostril now, because they're just like talking about how they feel like they're in middle school. Because Miranda's just like, and then Miranda also talks about how she'd never date a guy with braces, and I was like, excuse me? Like, Carrie even calls her out on it. She's just like, you're being a hypocrite. What the hell? You have braces.
Yeah. Like, it's such a weird, I don't know, like, because it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And then Carrie is at Wade's, and she's like, okay, this is another great outfit. She's wearing like a bikini with an American flag print on it, which is always, I think, burn the flag and everything. Death to America.
Well, I mean, the more cut up the flag is, the better. So bikini is perfect.
Yeah. But like, I love an American flag bikini. I think it's just like iconic. Every time I'm like, this is the fucking coolest shit. Like, flags should be on bikinis.
Interesting take. Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of flag bikinis before. The Canadian flag doesn't work very well for it unless you wanted like
each tit.
If you wanted each tit to be like a flag, because then it would be like the maple leaf covers up your nipple.
I guess. 100% 100% believe right now, if you went into Toronto and went to a burlesque club, there would be a performer with like maple leaf, like nipple tassels.
There probably would be. I should figure this out. I'm going to Toronto on Monday for Canada Day, so maybe I'll find out then.
I think that would be a look. At Pride, like rainbow maple leaf nipple covers. We should sell these.
Yeah. It's what Daddy Trudeau wants. That was a joke. So,
yeah. But yeah, she's doing the thing. I mean, Sarah Jessica Parker is a great actress because she's nailing what it's like when you're over at a boy's house. And you're like, oh, she's like, thank you, Mrs. whatever his last name is. I can't remember. Mrs. Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, oh, do you want some lemonade, dear? She's like, yes, please, Mrs. Adams. You know, oh, thank you, Mrs. Adams. And, you know, she's rolling around in her bikini. It's so weird. And they've got a paddling pool on the balcony.
I guess so. It's an interesting house apartment type thing, but yeah, they've got a very nice terrace. Yeah,
they have like a $5 like baby swimming pool.
It is very tiny.
It's so strange, but they're on like they're not even like having their feet in it or anything. It's just there.
They're just sitting on their bathing suits, like on lawn chairs.
And then Carrie says that parents are great because they're servants you don't pay, which are slaves.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Also, like, you horrible person, do you never help out at all with anything? Like, are you just letting the parents do everything for you? Like,
I guess she is. Like, I don't know, I guess she's just bringing her lemonade and cookies, but I don't know, whenever I'm around someone's house, I'm like, I need, for some reason, I love helping people cook, though. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like chopping vegetables and shit.
Carrie definitely doesn't.
No, Carrie can't chop a vegetable. She'd like cut her finger off or stab someone by accident because she's an idiot, a buffoon.
She is.
But then we go back to Trey and Charlotte, and they're at couples therapy with Robin Williams.
Basically, oh god, this guy was a character.
He's doing some like Goodwill Hunting. Like, I'm not being funny. He looks like Robin Williams, and he's a therapist.
It's really good. I really like the therapy scenes that they have with this guy. Like, just his advice and, like, Trey's reactions are just so funny to me. Like, he tells them about how, like, they should be using non-threatening language for sexual stuff. And, like, basically saying, Charlotte, if you could rename your vagina to be something non-sexual, what would it be? Charlotte, like, immediately says Rebecca.
Like, so quick. At the drop of a hat, she's like, oh, yeah, Rebecca.
Yes. Like, okay.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I just always liked the name.
Sure.
Yeah, and then Trey's is Schooner.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
It's because he likes sailing, I guess. I also love that Trey is, like, very hesitant about everything, and he's just like, are you quite sure you went to Yale?
Yeah, because they've met through some, like, alumni thing.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, okay, well, why don't you two, this is my homework, go home and lie in bed next to each other and don't talk and tell each other a sexual fantasy each, which sounds normal. I'm not a therapist, but sure.
Okay, yeah.
So they go home and they do just that. And Charlotte's is the most wild one ever.
Okay, I have a theory.
All right.
Okay, so her fantasy is all about how she's like a princess on a unicorn and he's a pirate, and like then she's like, okay, you put your schooner deep inside my Rebecca, which is like, oh, gross. But my theory is the reason she had pirates on her brain is because she's a lesbian, and she saw Carrie's outfit earlier in the episode. And she was like, pirates? I want a pirate to fuck me.
Oh.
So,
I think you're onto something here. Yeah. That makes sense. Because she is dressed like a pirate. Confirmed. Again.
Confirmed.
You're nailing it with the theories.
Just take after take, they're all right. I know it. Yeah.
So then it gets to Trey's, and he's like, I can't do this. Like, I'm a respected surgeon, which no one's there.
It has nothing to do with surgery. What is he talking about? He
Like,
can't. I can't fuck my wife. I'm a surgeon.
I didn't like ask my surgeon. He's like, hey, have you got any questions before we put you under? I'm like, yeah. Have you fucked your wife recently?
I can't do the surgery if you fucked your wife. Like, Jesus Christ. Holy shit, what?
If you've fucked in the last, like, a month, then I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. Like,
I sure hope you asked your surgeon before you had yours done. Like,
definitely. I don't want a surgeon that's fucked.
No, like, they're just gonna have fuck on the brain if they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How are they going to be able to focus if they're just thinking about fucking? If their dick works? Like,
right?
I don't understand that. He's like, oh, I'm a respected surgeon. Oh, I can't have sex.
Yeah. And he says he's not that sexual a person, and he doesn't deserve her, and one of those is true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he is a sexual person, as we find out. We'll get to it. It's great. So, sleepover.
They really had to call it that, too.
Yeah, we really had to make it, like, as gross as possible.
Okay, Carrie's voiceover in this scene, I wanted to pull my hair out because she describes Wade as the soul of a teenage body the soul of a teenage boy in the body of a very grown man, which, how is that sexy even remotely? That is not sexy at all.
No, I tell you who I hate and have hated for a long time. Teenage boys. They're like fucking assholes.
They suck ass. They're bad. And why would you want to fuck someone who has the soul of a teenage boy? This is horrible. And then she says a very
adult body. It's like, okay, calm down. Fucking hell.
I don't like it.
He takes his shirt off and, we all swoon because we're very horny women. And then his mother calls.
Oh my god. This is very mom.
Yeah, she's like, oh, hi, Carrie. Like, she's very, like, old person. Like, she's not, but that's how she's playing it. It's, like, very, like, I'm old.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Wade didn't speak to his father. We don't know if he fed the dog his medicine, and we don't want to feed the dog again because obviously that'll make the doggy ill. So, and then he just picks up the phone and talks to her, and he's like, yeah, I fed the dog, like, everything's fine. And obviously the, you don't want to have sex after you've just spoken to your mum. So
it's a bit of a mood killer, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Bit of a boner killer. And that's it.
Yeah, he's like, I told you not to call me here, Mom.
Yeah, it's very cringy. And then she wants to speak to Carrie for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get. This is just, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. My
favorite scene of the episode.
Yeah. Do you want to take it then?
Sure. Okay. So Charlotte's trying to sleep. But she hears some weird noises from the bathroom. So she gets up to go look, because, it kind of sounds like someone could be being sick. Like, there's some kind of, like, moaning. Like, it could, I don't know, maybe Trey's having, like, diarrhea or something.
Because,
but
like, okay, so Carrie's voiceover is like, oh, Charlotte didn't mean to make him cry. But, like, in what world does this sound like crying?
It does not. It sounds like, if anything, he's, like, throwing up at the toilet or something. Like, I don't know. It's not good, but she gets up and she opens the door. She doesn't even knock on the door or anything. She just opens the door to the bathroom. So he is full on ass out jacking it to a magazine. Like, we see Kyle MacLachlan's full on tiny ass. It's kind of Hank Hillish, to be honest. And he is going a ham on his ham. Like, he is just like, Jesus, like, I'd be afraid to go this hard. Like, I think you're gonna chafe or something. But he's, like, going hard. And then he drops the magazine on the floor. And we see, like, all these, like, big-titted women. And then he sees Charlotte watching him. And Charlotte has, like, the most horrified look on her face. Like, if you're in the Discord, I made it a new emoji because it was really, really good. But she's just like, this is the most horrified she's ever been in her whole life.
I hate it because he doesn't stop.
He's, like, still going. Yeah, he's still cranking it.
He's like, doesn't stop. He, like, looks her in the eye. It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we can see,
it's foul. And, like, I love Kyle MacLachlan. I don't know how comfortable I am with his little butt out. Like, I feel like it's an invasion of privacy.
I was tempted to make his button emoji because it was really funny, but I didn't.
Maybe a bit too much.
Maybe a little bit too much, yeah. And when he drops the magazine, we see that the title of the magazine is Jugs.
Big old titties.
So, big old titties. Yep.
Which Charlotte doesn't have big old titties. She has normal titties.
She does have normal titties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all titties are normal, but
I don't know. But she
normal,
has, average.
She has
an average
size.
titty.
Yeah, they're not, like, particularly small or big, so.
No, she has a regular, run-of-the-mill titty.
Yeah, just one. She only has one titty.
She has a uni boob.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? That's like, some people have that where they're, like, sort of slightly joined together. It's an interesting
I can't
look.
Relate because mine are very far apart. So.
Oh, yeah. Mine are underneath my armpits as we are talking.
They're just far away. So they don't like each other. They don't want to hang out. Well, they hang, but they don't want to hang out together.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like cousins. They don't really see each other very often. But, like, when they're together, they have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited whenever the idea of us having new listeners and they're like, I think I'll check out this show, and then we're like, my tits are underneath my armpits.
The thing is, you love it, so you love to hear it.
You love to hear it. So then, we go back to therapy,
of course,
as you would.
Charlotte's pissed.
Charlotte's pissed. She's like, first you said you weren't a sexual person, but then I caught you jerking off. He says it's stress relief. I mean,
yeah.
I guess
he's like, I mean, sure, but he says, it was true. I'm not a very sexual person. I just love to crank my hog. There's nothing sexual about cranking my hog. I just do it for kicks. Yeah.
Which, like, I've heard there are, like, there are asexual people that masturbate, but, like, him. So, like, maybe if it was 2019, that would be the words we'd use. But it just seems like he doesn't want to have sex with her, which is weird that he wouldn't mention that before they got fucking married.
Yeah, that seems like it's going to be a bit of an issue if he kind of knew ahead of time that he has a problem with this, I guess. Like, if that's something you should talk to your partner about for sure before you get married.
Like, yeah, it's cool, if you're asexual or you're not particularly into sex for whatever reason, you don't want to have, you have a low sex drive, that's cool. But, like, I feel like you should mention that to someone before you get married to them, and then half of your income is tied together for the fucking next 50 years.
It is a big thing in a relationship that if you're not on the same page can be an issue. So,
yeah, of course.
You want to be on the same page. That's the thing.
The whole issue is that they're not on the same page. If they were, then it would be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they're going to therapy. And the doctor is like, well, we should take it as a good sign because it means that Trey isn't gay. And Trey's like, hey.
This has nothing to do with my wife.
Yeah, he says it has nothing to do with his wife that he's been jerking off. And she's obviously very upset about that.
She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just not sexually attracted to my wife and never have been because we haven't had sex and we've been married for like probably like a month at least.
At least at this point, yeah.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So the therapist says that what he should do is find a way to incorporate Charlotte into his masturbation routine.
Yeah. Okay. Which I mean, you would think that maybe she would like give him a hand job, but that's not what happens. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens next will blow your mind.
Stay tuned.
So before we get there, Miranda's now at work with like the law people, and she's kind of lisping a bit from her braces, and there's like men who are kind of laughing at the table while she's talking, and then Miranda like full on calls them out and being like, why are you laughing at me? Like, can we be adults and get back to the conversation? Like, there's nothing funny about me having braces. And they're like, we're laughing at a typo on page 3.
It was certainly a bad bitch move for her to be like, to just call them out in the middle of a meeting. I really did. It turned me on a little bit, I have to be honest.
I did love it. I love it anytime I see a woman just like calling someone out, even if they were wrong. But it's good.
For a second, I'm like, oh wow, and then I'm like, wait, no.
But we find out that then she gets her braces taken off the very next day, because I guess like everything has been too much for her, so she's just gonna have to deal with the tongue thrusting for the rest of her life, I guess.
Yeah, she's also apparently getting like really bad headaches, but okay. I had to imagine that maybe there's some, whatever. Yeah, she's just gonna have to deal with bad headaches for the rest of her life because she's embarrassed.
I guess so, but that's Miranda's choice, I guess. Yeah, you do you, Miranda.
That's true. But then we see the butt again. We see his little white little butt, his little tiny little Hank Hill booty. Mm-hmm. Sorry to clown on legendary actor of the stage and screen, Kyle MacLachlan.
I thought you were gonna say sorry to clown on the legendary Hank Hill.
Hank Hill was legendary too.
Yeah, true.
Two little tiny butt icons.
Yeah. I love that he doesn't even wait for Charlotte to be like asleep. At this point, she's just reading in bed and he's in the bathroom just Okay, I don't get this, and I think it's because I don't have a dick, but the idea of jerking it while standing up is unfathomable to me.
I know. Have you ever seen like a movie or something where they like go down on someone when they're standing up and you're like, how?
Yes! How? What? Like, this isn't enjoyable. Like, why? You don't, like, no. I don't, like, I'm guessing it's just different if you have a dick, probably.
Maybe.
But, like write us in if you have a dick and tell us, but
he's also, like, doing it into the sink, so, like, I guess his balls are just resting on the cold sink. Like, this doesn't seem...
at least do it on the toilet.
Ugh.
I cannot even imagine being tall enough to rest a magazine against it and have my balls sit on the table. Like, how tall do you have to be for your balls to be able to sit on top of the bathroom counter?
I don't know. Let's see how tall Kyle MacLachlan is, so we find out how...
I mean, maybe it just works out pretty well, but...
I don't know.
But he's
jerking it.
Yeah. He's cranking hog. We see inside the magazine, he's still jacking it to jugs, but now he flips the page and he sees that there's like a picture of Charlotte's face taped onto one of the heads of like one of the models.
And it's her wedding photo. She's wearing a veil.
Yeah, they're all photos from her weddings that she couldn't use for other things. And she's taped them on like every page onto the women's heads. And he just like looks kind of confused for a second. Like he kind of slows down. Like he's like crank. Oh, what's this? And it's like, I was wondering for a second if he was just gonna stop. But then he keeps going and he's like, okay, this can maybe work. And he then we see Charlotte in bed with her book, just kind of like thinking.
She looks like really pleased with herself. Like she's
like, good job.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I did. He's still jerking and he's seen those pictures of me. I'm sexy. Like, it's so strange. I mean, not the way I would have gone about it, but good for her.
She made, you know what? It was creative. So I respect it. This really just made me think, like, how much porn has poisoned the minds of so many people, where it's like, I can't get off to someone unless they have like Triple H titties, and I can't like if they have any pubic hair, I can't get off to this. And like the ridiculous, like, I mean, part of it is that, and part of it is like also he seems to have some kind of like emotional thing where it's like, well, I respect you, you're my wife, I can't fuck you. And, like, it's some kind of combination between both of those things, I think. But it's just very like, porn has ruined sex.
They get into like Trey's Madonna whore complex of he can't like feel anything sexual for Charlotte because he quote unquote respects her, and you know, she's his wife and she's a good lady. Like, he needs to jerk off to porn stars who he deems to be you know, acceptable sexual targets.
So he wants the
Don't do it.
girl, but he needs the bad pussy.
Yeah. It's exactly that. It's that.
Thanks, HBO, for recycling the same plot like 20 years later.
Oh, wow. Where
was the Emmy for this? How come Kyle MacLachlan didn't get an Emmy for the bad pussy? But this is more like the bad titties. Like, he needs those bad titties.
He must have an Emmy. He must.
Not for this, I mean.
Probably for Twin Peaks.
I'm gonna find out now. Kyle MacLachlan, Emmy.
He better have a fucking... it's all about how he didn't get one for the Twin Peaks remake, which is illegal.
He was twice nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama, and he hasn't won an Emmy, but he won a Golden Globe.
Yeah, he won Golden Globe for Twin Peaks, which is good.
Yeah.
He deserved
that makes sense.
It's what he deserves.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And then we go to the bat mitzvah, and it's pretty much just them arriving. Very My Super Sweet 16.
There's a fucking red carpet.
Yeah. There's a red carpet. There's girls screaming at them.
I can't even imagine being the kind of girl in school who is like excited to be in the presence of a popular girl.
There weren't like popular. I mean, there were people who had a lot of friends, but there weren't like popular people really at my school.
There were people who were like the cooler people.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like anything like a American high school movie or something like that. Like, it wasn't like that. There were definitely people who were like the cool kids who go to parties, and then there were like the other people, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just different in Canada.
Yeah, there were like cool people who went to parties. There were like people who were like who peaked, who were preppy and, you know, a pretty teenagers. And then I was friends with like the kids who went to parties, but that's because they just smoked a lot of weed. So yeah. They were just doing drugs and drinking.
Fair.
Yeah, but those were the parties we went to.
They
like,
weren't like particularly mean or anything, though.
No, I never spoke to them. Like, they weren't mean to me because I never spoke to them. Because I was an emo and they were preps, so.
True. I was just a floater, and I would, like, hang out sometimes with, like, the emo goth kids, and I would sometimes hang out with just, like, the normies, and then I don't know. I just kind of, like, hung out with different people depending on the day. But what I really liked was that the emos and the goths hung out, like, my school had an amphitheater outside, and they all hung out there, which was, like, very on brand. It was really good.
Do you know, we hung out, like, there was like this concrete room that was like it was like underneath the stairs that went up to the art department, but it was in between like the drama department, so it's the perfect place to hang out if you are an emo.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I love it. I wish there was like an emo that they dated in the show, like Carrie dates someone from My Chemical Romance or something.
That would be great. Yeah, if Gerard Way just shows up and he's like swooping his hair out of his eye and he's like, "Hi, Carrie, I'm right." But then he wrote a comic book, so
true.
See,
you know what he did?
This whole time, this could have been Gerard Way, who I'm pretty sure was probably like 18, so would not have wanted to be on Second City.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of weed. And being a teenager, we're back we're in Wade's bedroom, which looks like a teenage boy's room.
Yeah.
And he's like, that Carrie's like going through some records he has, and they put one on, and then he's like, oh, I got some Canadian supergrass, which he says is 6 times more powerful than regular weed, which isn't how weed works.
It's not. Like, there's good weed and there's bad weed, but, like, I don't know what he's talking about. And then he pulls out his homemade bong on 12 that's, like, a homemade pop bottle bong. It's disgusting.
It has a flame decal. Like, it's like a Guy Fieri shirt.
Yeah, it does. And the bong water is disgusting. Like, I don't think he's ever cleaned this. It's nasty. It's filthy.
It's black. It's black bong water. It's disgusting. And Carrie's like, what? And he's like, oh, I can't smoke from a toke. Like, I need to have a bong. And Carrie's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I haven't smoked from a bong since I was a teenager. But, they get very high.
They do. They get fucking high off their ass, which I guess we see what happens after. We kind of go back to Samantha again before then, after Carrie takes a big fucking rip from the bong.
Yeah, she takes a big fucking rip. But the teens are like this. They're at the party. And Jenny is like, oh, I'm totally going to fuck those guys. And they're like, oh, yeah. Like, they're talking about fucking. And Samantha's like, girls, like, you're 13. Don't be doing that.
I was really, like, uncomfortable about it. I was like, this is...
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, in the first conversation, you're kind of just like, oh, whatever. They're doing stuff with their boyfriends, but then they sort of get more graphic with this part, and it's very disgusting. You're like, oh, no, they're actually having sex, and it's gross. And they're children, they're talking about it, and it's like, ugh. I hate it.
Yeah, and, like... One of them says, like, oh, well, giving blowjobs is the only way to get guys to notice you. And Samantha's just like, that is not fucking true.
No.
Extremely not true. And they're basically just like, what the fuck do you know? Like, grandma?
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're old. Like, and Samantha's just, she gives up.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't. I think I would call CPS. But she gives up, and she says, she had something those girls could never have. A childhood. Which is really fucked up. Like, these girls still are, like, doing stuff they definitely should not be doing.
They're still children. Like, it's a messed up situation. It's kind of just like, clearly at that age you're not old enough to comprehend, like the weight of what a sexual relationship is or anything. No. And a 13-year-old boy certainly is not either. Yeah, Samantha just kind of walks away. Yeah,
she just kind of walks away. Like, I thought she was going to sort of give them a bit more of like a straight pep talk. Like, look, that's not true. Don't do anything you don't want to do. Like, don't listen to boys. But she doesn't, which I don't like.
Because there's definitely a way to approach it to say exactly that, where it's like, you should be comfortable with everything you're doing. And like, it's not like there's a right age to start having sex or anything. But 13 is not, like, no matter who you are.
No.
I don't think 13 is that age.
Like, messing around, sure, whatever. But, like, you don't need to be, and don't feel like you have to do it to keep guys interested in you, like, at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But I did notice they're all wearing, like, a zebra print, which I love.
There was a lot of that today. Samantha had a zebra print purse in an earlier scene, and I was like, this is amazing, and I love it, and I want one. They're like, what if horses were, like, fine? That's what they are.
I didn't buy it because it was like a weird color, but I did nearly buy a zebra print dress today.
Oh, that would have been really good.
Yeah, but it was like a camel. Like, it wasn't white and black, and it wasn't orange and black to make it a tiger. So it was like a camel color in black, which wouldn't. My skin is already camel. It would look weird.
Yeah.
But enough about my fashion choices. Should we move on to the final act?
Oh yes, we can and we should. To Carrie and Wade just loaded off their fucking gourds on marijuana.
A marijuana with a KFC bucket each.
Yeah, they each have one.
And yeah, they're on the balcony on these little like recliner chairs, and they're high as fuck and they're giggling. And Carrie's like, "I'm thirsty," and then he says, "You can have some bong water," and they just start laughing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's high, but does she not know where a sink is?
I mean, at least she's not drinking the pool water, but...
No, but she tries to drink out of a fucking hose.
She does. And then she, like, she, like, puts the hose on him while he's lying down on the chair, and he's like, she's like, here, hold this for a second. And then he's just, like, comfortable, and then she turns the hose on.
Yeah, and they start having, like, a chicken and water fight. It's really strange.
Yeah, he's spraying her with the hose, and she throws chicken at him.
It's weird. But then a bit of chicken falls off the roof. And they look over the balcony and he's like, "Oh, that looks like my parents' car." And then he starts freaking out because his parents said if they catch him smoking weed in the house again, then he's going to have to sleep in a cot in the comic book store.
Yep.
So he's like, "We need to find where we put the pot." And they're searching around for it, and then his parents walk in. And the thing with this is I can smell marijuana from, like, a fucking miles away.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's even possible to smoke in an apartment and have it not super obvious that that's been happening.
Like, they smoked in his bedroom, like, they didn't even go to the balcony, even. Like...
Yeah.
It's gonna stick up the entire house.
Uh-huh.
And like so his mother sees like the massive bag on the side. And it's like, "Carrie, who brought this here?" And he puts the blame on Carrie.
Yep, he immediately, like, without even hesitating, says that Carrie brought it into the house.
Without a fucking second thought, he points at her and then he puts his head down like a baby, like he's an in trouble puppy.
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
A piece of shit.
Yeah. But Carrie pulls, like, the move of the century here. This may have won Carrie the episode for me.
The swerve. It's so good.
It's fucking great. Because she's like, "Yes, Mrs. Adams, I brought the marijuana into the house, and I'm taking it with me."
and she grabs it and throws out. It's so good.
It's good. It's more weed than... It's probably, like, 5 times more weed than I have in my house, and it's illegal in Canada. So, like...
And, like, he says it was, like, $600 or something. Like, it's a lot of weed. And then Carrie also realizes at that point that he's obviously not saving up for his own place because he spent, like...
$600 for that much weed, then he's, like, stupider than the kids in that meme that's like, which group of kids would spend more on weed? Like...
he might have said $300. Either way, that's still way too much.
Still too much money. Like, it's... I'm so bad at, like, weights of weed, but, like, this is like, definitely over 10 grams of weed. So I'm like... Yeah. What?
It's like a sandwich bag. Like half a sandwich bag of weed. So she takes this fucking expensive weed and leaves, and then she smokes it with Samantha and Miranda. It's so good.
That is a fucking great scene of them smoking weed in her apartment. It's good as shit.
I love it. The power that this has.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This was a great episode.
It was great. It was, I mean, apart from the very uncomfortable scene with the children, everything else was great.
Yeah. And it's like, it was at least just them talking about, like, the kids talking about stuff that they did rather than being, like, sexualizing kids. It was, like, them having a discussion about it and why it's fucked up. It was uncomfortable to watch still, but yeah,
it was definitely uncomfortable to watch, and like I didn't love it. I wish it would have sparked a conversation. Which I mean, I guess if we jump into rankings, then like I would put Samantha pretty low because she didn't do anything this episode at all, apart from just, and like she could have said something to the girls and maybe changed their minds, or been a bit, she could have been like a mentor or something, you know?
Well, yeah, especially since she's someone who's like very sexually empowered. It would have been like good for her to maybe be like, look, I have a lot of sex, but like I also know what I'm doing. I know a lot about sex. Like I'm, you know, educated about it, and I never do anything I don't want to do. I never do anything because a man wants it and I don't want to do it. Like there's so many things she could say, but she just is like, you know, closes her mouth and walks away. So,
yeah. Yeah, like you said, she could sort of empower them to be like, no, okay, do whatever you want to do, sure, but make sure it's because you want to do it. You know, here's how to have sex safely. When you're a grown-up, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but you're a child, so don't.
yeah.
But she doesn't, so she's definitely at the bottom for me. And then, I mean, I guess Charlotte? No, Miranda, I think, for being weird about saying she wouldn't date a guy with braces. And then I guess Charlotte, even though she did want to put a robot in her husband's dick. And then Carrie for fucking stealing some weed, like really expensive weed.
Carrie fucking rules for being the top. Yeah, I can't believe she was the top this week. And, like, she wasn't perfect. She had a couple things where I was, like, rolling my eyes at her. But, like, I mean, that's the show.
And she was also pretty cool about him living with his parents. Like, you would think that she would throw a bit of, she would freak out as she often does. But she didn't. She was cool and she was level-headed and I was into it.
Yeah, and, like, that's another reason why Samantha was kind of, like, at the bottom for me. Like, I mean, I did laugh when she was like, use my cell phone, do this immediately. But it was like, okay, if this is real life, like, you're being a little over dramatic about this. Like, Carrie's fine. But yeah, I think my order's the same. Charlotte's definitely my second because I did laugh a lot at the fucking her face pasted onto the women in the magazine. And just like, I don't know, this whole plot, like, this is possibly the funniest that this plot gets to me. Like, just seeing Kyle MacLachlan cranking his hog, going, like, just harder than I've ever seen someone crank a hog before. Like, it's really good.
He is going for it. It's great.
Oh, yeah. He's chasing that nut. Yeah.
So that's it. Questions?
We've got questions.
We got questions. If you want to send us questions, then you can send them to seagirlsmakedude@tumblr.com/ask. You can send them to us on Twitter as well if you don't have a Tumblr, but
I mean, you can also submit anonymous Tumblr questions, but
yep. Or you can email us. We're seagirlsmakedude everywhere, so there. So you can get us. But our first question is from Tumblr user Magnificent Sap Caddy, who asks, asterisk for the question I sent, which, I mean, it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now?
I think it was because it was the episode before Val, so, but that's because we took a break, so we got this message a while ago.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen the Matthew McConaughey episode in a few years, so if he's a scuzzball or a weirdo in that ep, I meant the real life one who has himbo energies.
Right, because their question was like, would Charlotte have fallen for Matthew McConaughey if she had been in LA?
I don't think she likes a himbo.
Yeah, she does like a man who's like distinguished and intelligent, I think.
Yeah, she likes him to be, I mean, she's married to a surgeon, so unfortunately...
A respected surgeon.
A respected surgeon. If you're a surgeon, then you're disqualified from himbo. I would hope.
Fully. You, like, no question about it.
Yeah, like when I was getting my my anesthesia and I was like half asleep and then the surgeon just goes, which one's a scalpel? Then I would have jolted straight back up.
True. And like, as we've discussed on the podcast before, doctors are not endearing.
No.
And himbos are endearing.
True.
So by default, even if doctors were dumb as rocks, they couldn't be himbos because they're not endearing.
No, so. I feel like there are certain careers which are like just immediately not endearing. Like a firefighter is endearing, you know, or like a teacher, you're like, oh, but then like a doctor, you're like, no, you already know too much. Like, I'm not into that vibe. You're like, you're smart. Fuck you.
You're smart and you work too much. Die.
I'm trying to think of another one. There's definitely another one. Like if you're like a gallery curator, that's not endearing. Or like a musician. You're like, I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just true. A mechanic. Actually, a mechanic. A mechanic is a himbo job. 100%. And like a nurse. A nurse or an EMT himbo.
Yeah. Well, you have to be pretty fucking smart to become a nurse.
But you can still be a himbo. I think like smart and himbo are like separate energies because I think like the pair of us are both intelligent, but we're kind of we're on the bimbo scale.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah.
We're on the bimbo spectrum.
Plus, there's a lot of really educated people who are like really dumb.
Fucking stupid. Yeah. Like you said, that person who is at a university and doesn't know that dragons are real.
Yeah.
That's himbo.
Toe to tip, that's himbo. But yeah, not Kyle MacLachlan in this. Does Kyle MacLachlan ever play a himbo? Is he a himbo in Dune? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's a himbo. I've never seen Dune, but I would imagine he's a himbo in that. He's kind of a himbo in Blue Velvet.
He's not in Twin Peaks.
He's himbo adjacent in Twin Peaks because
he's very endearing.
He's the endearing factor of the himbo, not really like the stupid factor.
Yeah,
but that's
true.
But he's definitely like a little silly. He's a silly boy.
He's silly, and he sometimes just brings things up out of nowhere that have nothing to do with anything, and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so that is kind of himbo energy. Mm-hmm.
When he figured out who killed Laura Palmer, and then the next day he goes to tell Harry, and he's like, oh, I forgot, because I forgot to write it down. That's a himbo.
That is fucking it. Yeah, we need to make like a sliding scale of all of Kyle MacLachlan's roles and like whether they're himbo or like least himbo to most himbo.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, like, Keanu plays a himbo in every single film.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Every single film role, he is a himbo. Because Keanu is the god of himbos. Like, he's gorgeous. But he's incredibly endearing. And, like, maybe a little bit dim.
He's full on admitted it before. Keanu Reeves has done interviews where he's been like, I'm not a smart guy. He's full on said that before. He owns it. Like, I stan, truly.
Me too. So, donate to our Patreon. Anyway.
Yes.
We have another question from Magnificent Sapcaddy, which is also an update.
Yes.
One more update, and you don't have to read this on air. Or the last one if you did. I'm going to. I'm a few episodes behind. That's okay. Apparently Matthew McConaughey kind of sucks a little. And I know it's probably no big deal, but I want to apologize for not being as informed, and will try to remember to do a cursory Google search on any celebrities I mentioned to make sure they didn't do anything stupid.
That's not your fault. That's Matthew McConaughey's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It does kind of suck, but, like, doesn't everyone? I mean, that's not to, like, that's not to sort of play down anything. It's just that, you know, you can't expect celebrities to be good people or decent people because they all kind of suck.
And you can't be expected to know the history of every person. Like, I know you said that you can do a Google search before, but, you know, like, it's not like every time you can't do that every time you bring up someone that you don't know their entire life story about. And I don't know what Matthew McConaughey has or has not done, but I don't care for him anyway. So I'm like,
I mean, I didn't do a Google search. I mean, like, big name fuckheads, like R. Kelly, like, I mean, you should probably know that stuff, but
don't. You
don't have to. We're listen, I'm happy to bring up Matthew McConaughey on this show. I don't feel the need to censor his name or anything, but he's a dick, I'm sure.
He's just no Drake or anything, like, but yeah, he doesn't seem like, you know, world's nicest man.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to do a meeting alone in a room with Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I would like to talk about that film that he did, The Serenity, where it's like in a video game.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but it's great. The big plot twist is that the whole story's set in a video game.
Yeah. Like Wreck-It Ralph?
No. Well, kind of.
Okay. Is it new? Like
it came out like this year.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my, Anne Hathaway's in it. Like, it was like a big name thing. It was like the new movie of Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, and then it was terrible. It was like this year's Book of Henry.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. Tumblr user, frequent as I can't speak today. Tumblr user, frequent question asker, and friend of the show, Mike Dawson, has asked us, what would the show be like if Mr. Big were a tech billionaire like Elon Musk or Jack Dorsey?
Well, Carrie would change her name to be just C for Carrie, aka the speed of light. Yeah.
I think I would watch an episode and then just vomit for like at least 30 minutes afterwards.
The show would be much worse. I mean, Big's already bad, but
I think Big would be like fully like addicted to drugs because he's like constantly microdosing LSD. For no real reason, and you're like, why are you doing, like, you know how Jack Dorsey doesn't he have some weird diet where he only like eats dirt and fucking
I hope so.
I think he has like some weird diet or something. He looks, and again, I'm sure we're gonna get people being like, you shouldn't make fun of people's looks, and I'm not making fun of his looks, but I will say he looks 20 years older than he actually is. Like, he looks like shit, and it's happened in about 10 years. Like, Twitter started, he looked his age, and now he looks 50.
I don't even know what he looks like, to be honest, because I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to.
I mean, Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey, like, Elon Musk, I mean, they're both kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk he did get really good hair plugs. So he does actually look
He looks better than he should.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say he looks good, but he looks better than he should.
That's true. Maybe good was too much.
To him.
But like those like old pictures of him at PayPal where he looks like a foot, and then he lost weight and got plastic surgery and hair plugs, and you're like, oh, you look fine.
Like with his apartheid money, yeah. He
with his blood money.
Yeah, See, the thing about Mr. Big is that we know he's a shitty person because of his interpersonal relationships, but we don't know, like, we know that he's like a rich business guy, but we don't see like why he's a shitty person because of his job. And I feel like if he was a tech billionaire, there would be so much more bullshit that we see about his job that's like shit he pulls that's just garbage, and it would be more like, wow, he's even more of a garbage person than I thought he was before.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I hate all rich people, but at least like traditional businessmen wear suits. Like, tech billionaires always wear like t-shirts with fucking mustard stains and fucking gross hoodies. Like, at least Big looks acceptable.
Well, yeah, like, isn't there a thing where Mark Zuckerberg was like, yeah, I wear the same shitty shirt and pants every single day of my life because I use so much of my brain power doing other things that if I don't have to think about how to dress myself, it's one less thing I have to think about. And it's like, honey.
Like, you know, there are stylists. Like, there are people you can pay to fucking dress you. Like, you can do that.
Like, I know he hasn't had social pressure to look good his entire life because he's a man, but, like, buddy, like, you look like a 22-year-old in college who, like, hasn't, you know, fucking had a proper meal in, like, 3 weeks since he was home for Thanksgiving.
But he's, like, even before he's a billionaire, he's a father. He's like a 40-year-old man who has a child, you know?
Mark Zuckerberg does?
Yeah, he's got a kid. He's got a wife.
Gross.
So yeah, I think if Big was a tech billionaire, he would be on acid. He would look he would look either better than he's supposed to or worse than he's supposed to, and he would only wear t-shirts.
Oh, I really fucking hate it.
I hate it so much. And like, yeah, Carrie would also. Carrie traps a rapper in her house because she wants to have a threesome with her.
Oh, God.
I would die to see Azealia Banks live tweeting the inside of Big and Carrie's mansion.
Oh, fucking me too. That'd just be great. So, anyway, the long story short is that it would be worse.
It would be much worse. Okay, last question from friend of the show, Tumblr user 2x2 Furious. What is each of the girls' government-assigned pokéfusion starter?
Okay, I got the website open. The idea with the Pokemon Fusion government-assigned one is that you're supposed to just hit random and get it. So this is not even a me thinking about it thing. This is me just hitting random on a website. So who are we doing first?
Let's do Carrie.
Okay, so Carrie is Poliwag, which is a combination of Poliwhirl and Poliwag. Oh. And it just looks like Poliwag, pretty much. So that was it's basically the thanks this was useless of fusions because it's just the same thing.
Well, Carrie is useless, so
yeah,
carry
exactly. On. Okay, so who's next?
I'm gonna say Charlotte. We'll go in alphabetical order.
Okay, so Charlotte is Wigglyster. So she is Cloyster with a Jigglypuff face, a Wigglytuff face inside of it, which is kind of perfect because Cloyster is like the vagina Pokemon and Wigglytuff is pink. And so the pink makes it like a pink vagina, but then there's a Wigglytuff face just in the middle of it. So it's very like, this is my vagina. She's so cute and pretty.
This is Rebecca.
Yes! I love it. This is actually really good.
Yeah, okay, so Miranda.
Okay, Miranda is Golmoth, which is a combination of Golem and Venomoth. It looks pretty, like, earthy colored.
Okay.
I don't know, it looks a little bit aggressive, but also nice.
That sounds like Miranda.
That sounds cool. I like it. Uh-huh.
Okay, and then Samantha.
Samantha is Polymer.
Oh, like plastic.
Like plastic. It's Poliwhirl with Grimer.
Okay.
So it kind of just looks like a blue slime with big eyes and a swirl on its stomach. So that's cool.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. So I like it. I really, really, really liked Charlotte. So it was really good.
Oh.
I should just tweet these when we put the episode out. That's our questions.
All right. Well, Patreon.
Yes, Patreon. So if you want to donate to our Patreon, patreon.com/citygirlsmakedo. And so if you donate at the $1 tier, you get access to our monthly mailbag, which is recorded at the end of every month with Alex's mom. So that should be coming out, I guess, in the next couple weeks. And you also get a special role in our Discord server. I think that's everything. At the $5 tier, you're a cardboard cutout of a baby. You get to submit things in Steve voice if you want. Summer said she was going to do that soon, so she's got to submit some Steve voice stuff. Got a few $5 donors, so you also get like all the $1 stuff, and we'll also read your name out on the episode. So our $5 donors are Matt Ribeiro, Jess Ayalachi, Mogu, Summergeist, Pierre the Disaster, and Siberian Pine Hardwood. And at the $10 tier, you get all of that. Plus, if you want, you can listen in on the episodes as we record. And we're angels, so it's good to do.
It is. We're very funny.
Thanks,
everyone, for
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there's more.
No, thanks to our donors. That was pretty much everything. But
Thanks,
we're
everyone.
Almost we're like our $50 stretch goal. So we're over $30 a month at this point. At $50, that's when we'd make our Keanu podcast every month.
So soon.
You could get us there if you donate, and we could talk about Keanu.
Sorry. I'm gagging for Keanu. I mean,
yeah.
he's the everyone's going crazy for him. It's great.
It's very good to me. And I guess it's partly because John Wick really, like, brought him back into the popular scene, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, which is worth it because, like, John Wick is a fucking great series. So, I get it.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
He's eternal.
I can't wait for us to do all the John Wick movies. It's gonna be good. We're gonna do his entire filmography forever until he retires.
Exactly. We gotta. And, like, I keep being like, oh, I haven't seen this Keanu movie. I really want to watch it. But then I'm like, fuck, I don't want to watch it if we're going to do a podcast about it soon. So, like, fund our podcast so that I can do it.
Yeah, same.
Because I want to watch these movies and I don't want to, like, watch them now and then be like, oh, I guess I got to watch this again in a month. Not that it would be bad, but, like, still. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
That's it. That's podcast. If you want to find me online, I'm on Twitter at Age of Oddish, and I'm on Tumblr at Windfall Island.
And if you want to find me, I'm on Tumblr at DorkPhoenix69, and then I'm on Tumblr at DorkPhoenix, and then Twitter at DorkPhoenix69.
You sure the fuck are. And we're on Noisepace, so check out the Noisepace.xyz network for all your favorite podcasts like Henry Kissinger is Pokemon going to die? When's that going to happen? Why is he still alive? They just got their 69th episode, so that's cool. And Island Shuffle, The Stick, all those fun podcasts that are good, so check them out. And our friends host them, so they're good.
They are good.
They are. I'm biased, but it's fine. They're actually good, so. But yeah, that's been podcast. So Mohey every day.
Mohey every day.